I had 17 turnovers. Archie and Alex had 9. I told them if they don't get better with the ball, then they can't have the ball as much. You can't go at them if they're going to turn it over like that, but that's one thing. You know, the way the game started, you know, again, we just, you know, we weren't what we needed to be. But I will tell you that we were better than I thought we'd be. We're way away from being where we need to be. But if the guy couldn't stop today because I was screaming the whole time. Now I'm exhausted right now. I can't coach that way. But, I mean, I was on Alex every bounce of the ball to play, and Ryan, just to make them play through possessions.
Kelly, you said you've been tinkering with the lineup. I think before garbage time we saw 12 different lineups. Did you know you were going to do that?
Yeah, just I want to keep looking. I want to see what's what, and I like the big team. I like the 2 big guys together. I'm fine with that. Nerlens was really good today. Willie was good. Nerlens was really good. I thought Julius played steady, which is what he does for us. Ryan in spurts played how he's got to play for us in spurts, and then he reverts, and then it's okay to get beat or get hung up on a screen or stop playing it. And it's just like I told him after, I'm just not settling for that. That's not, if you want to stay on the court, it's not about missed shots or turnovers. It has nothing to do with that. You can never say, he takes me out every time I make a mistake, I can't play. Because I don't do that. Now, if you don't sprint back, you're coming out. If you're not rough and the guy throws you out of the way, sit down. You're not ready. If you don't dive for a loose ball, if you don't help a helper, if you're standing there watching the play, you're out. It has nothing to do with a missed shot or a turnover.
Cal, is this what you've seen from Nerlens in practice? Has he been running the court like this in the second half?
No, but he and Willie, what's happened is he and Willie have made each other better. They're both better because they go against each other every day. I like the fact that I put them in together a couple days ago and they really talk to one another. Like up and down the court, they were telling each other, I'm here, you go up, you do this, and it was good to see.
Cal, all those lineup combinations, I think that was just 7 guys, but in a bunch of different combos. Will you narrow that down at some point, or could you go all year and use a bunch of different lineups?
Well, you may look at one lineup, you know, and say, this one's better. I may not like that starting lineup. You can't start that way. So maybe we start different, and then you just rotate. And I'm telling you, it does not matter who starts. It's who finishes the game. So maybe a starting lineup is different for us. If a kid's ego about starting is the biggest thing, he shouldn't have come to school here. Because when you're playing 7 guys, what does that mean? All 7 are going to play what? 28, 30 minutes? You're going to play all the minutes you can play. Now I got to figure out if we stick in John Hood, which I'm going to do against Transy. And I told he and Jared, I got to go with these 7, and I got to figure out stuff. We're so far behind. But, you know, I told him now, seeing that Alex just didn't have the energy to finish the game, that means that maybe we shove John Hood in there 3 or 4 minutes a half while we're playing, and that's a rotation where he goes in. And we will look at that against Transy. So, and John Hood is way better. He's playing, because he's playing within himself. He's not listening, you know, you got to do it. No, he's just stop. Let me play the way the coach is telling me to play and the way I know I should play. So he'll be fine.
Cal, Archie really scored the ball, but how big was his defense, his deflections in the first half, and how big is that going to be down the road?
He's a good player. I mean, I like the fact that, you know, he was 7 out of 12, makes his free throws, you know, but the issue becomes he gets so out of control. You can play fast, but don't be in a hurry. When he plays fast, he hurries. And there's stuff he's learning, and I'm all over him. I mean, one of the reasons is I had to see who could take me when we're in the heat of battle, and who, if I got on, I just have to take him out. Just take him out. I can't take it. So part of what I was doing today, and the other thing was having to get these guys to play through the whole possession, which they're just learning to do.
Cal, there were so many lineups, maybe hard to even pinpoint them before you go.
Did anybody look at the points per lineup or the score in the lineups?
What you had?
Did anybody yet? Our fans have already done it. You guys are only media. You guys don't do crap. So, but our fans have already broken it down. It's great for your story because just go on the board. They'll tell you who scored, what the score was with each lineup, and then you put it in your story. It's good stuff.
Along those lines, when it was a 14-13 game, you went with your smallest group. It was the 3 guards, Alex and Nerlens, and it was a 7-0 run.
How'd they do it? They did good?
I mean, was that your
yeah,
was there a favorite lineup that you saw tonight?
No, but there may be a catch-up lineup that we got to go and be more active and do stuff. But if Alex doesn't play with high energy, like the energy bunny, then how can you have him in a catch-up lineup? That means those guys are just flying around, going nuts, playing the hole, diving, throwing it heads, boom, and play. Not like, okay, now I'm tired, let me just jog. So, you know, he's a great kid, too. He's trying. This is all new to these guys. And then they got a coach that's going absolutely bonkers in front of 25,000. And we walk out of a timeout and break down. I'm like killing the guy that broke down. Well, guess what? In about a week, we got a game Monday, and then when's that next game? What's today? What day is this? Thursday. So in a week, we're on national television. And we got to figure out what in the heck. Are you going to play 72 lineups against those? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure this team out. I got upset they didn't drive it a couple times. They pulled it out. Drive the ball. Drive the ball. Get to the rim. Come to jump stops. We're going to drive. What do they have to do to guard us? They got to take a charge. You don't know that? I say it every day in practice 75 times. The only way they can guard you is take a charge. So if you run in there and leave your feet, you're not focused. Sub, out. You're not thinking. You're exhausted. So you just all that kind of stuff is what I'm trying to drill in these guys so when they get in those games, pressure-packed, that we just play.
Before the game, you said defense was awful. First half looked sluggish. Second half, you got what you wanted. Guys driving, getting blocks. Just what was that?
Well, here's what you had. What did this team say that they had to do to try to beat us? Shoot threes. How many teams are we going to play this year? That's how they're going to play. 15? We know we got to make threes. So we got to be good at driving them off that line. Now, they shot 27%. Not bad from the three, but some of those were open where other guys will make it. So I've got to look at all 29 of these threes and see how we guarded it so I can show them you can't give them that. You make them drive. When they started driving in the second half, what happened? We had 11 blocks. I don't know what we had at half, but I know we had a bunch in the second half. You got to get them to drive the ball. Not straight line drives, but you got to get them to drive, you know, off you, spin back so we can go get it.
John, you talk about Kyle's play. You only have one rebound and 1 assist, but how did you kind of feel?
Well, I was on him because he's got to come up with balls. You can't play a game thinking, well, if I make shots, I play. And my thing is, you have no, we'll show him the tape. There were 5 or 6 balls that he could have gotten that he didn't. You must get those balls. There's not an option. Now, all of a sudden, if your game is predicated if he's making shots. Do you really want to be that guy? If I don't make shots, I play 3 minutes. If I'm making shots, good, I'll play 28 minutes, 30 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, the rim goes like that. You can't make shots. So he is way better than he was, way more athletic than he was, but still has to get in better shape and has to anticipate things better. I keep telling him, you must anticipate. You have to see it. Force yourself. Because if he anticipates, he's close enough to the guy to guard him. If he doesn't anticipate, he tries to run, and then they just run around him.
John, obviously, this isn't the first time you've had to start from scratch, obviously. I'm just curious.
This is really scratch.
Yeah.
This is scratch. This is like.
Yeah. Is there anything in the previous years you've learned that aid in this process or to help you maybe streamline this process a little bit?
Yeah, I just scream more, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, I'm tired because I'm thinking all the time. My whole day is, how do I do this? I've had more individual meetings to this point than I've had in the last 3 years because I'm having to build guys and feel guys and challenge guys, and some guys hug, some guys kick. I got one guy that's in my book club now. He's getting a book every 2 weeks that he's got to read and tell me what's on it because he's messing around academically. So I said, well, good, you're going to learn to love reading because you are going to read. You and I are reading the same books, and we're going to talk about what we're reading. So all this stuff I do, it's not just on the court. On the court, It's the tough stuff, the challenge stuff. But I got to do the other so they understand I care about them, that I love them, I'm looking after them. I had a great text today, one of the greatest texts I've had since I've been the coach here. Wasn't from John Wall, wasn't from DeMarcus, wasn't from Brandon, Eric Bledsoe. I talked to Michael Kidd today because he plays tonight. Wasn't Anthony. Darius and I talked 3 or 4 days ago, but none of those guys, not Derrick Rose, it was from Eloy Vargas. Eloy texted me and said, Coach, I want to wish you luck, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I know I didn't play a whole lot, but all the things I learned, it's helped me, move me to where I'm trying to go. And I just want to thank you. That means something. That means he knows, yes, I want him to play more, but we care about him, that this is more than just the guys that are playing. I want John Hood to feel that way. My people around him may be mad he's not playing more. That's how it is. I mean, but I want him to know we care and that we're trying to make him better.
Cal, what were your thoughts on Raleigh getting to come back and have another memory here?
I thought it was great. And our fans the best. How about they give him a huge ovation? The video, I think Jason and those guys put together, correct? Dwayne usually takes credit. You want to take credit? No, okay. We'll save it for next time. Bigger, something bigger. But they put the tape, and then, you know, to have him come back and you know, like I told his team, go win the national title. They're #1 in NAIA, #1. And I watched their semifinal and final of a year ago. Probably they were that close to winning it last year. The other team made 3 threes in a row, and that's why they lost. Short of that, they'd have won it last year. So it'd be kind of neat. I don't know how many coaches have won the NCAA Division I national title and an NAIA championship. I don't know if any have. I know there are a few that have won the NIT and the NCAA. Probably, I think Nolan won at junior college in an NCAA, but I don't think there's anybody that ever won an NAIA and an NCAA. So, and let me say this, they just started that program 6 years ago. How about that? I mean, that's not like a 30-year program that, no, they didn't have balls and uniforms, shoes, they didn't have anything 6 years ago. So you got to understand how good he is and what he does and how he gets a team to play.
John, two parts. Where is Eloy now? And if you would, what was the procedure, or why did you add Todd Lanter to the team?
We just needed one more guy with size. Right now, Eloy, and what we talked about also was, do I do the D-League thing or did I go to Europe? And we went back and forth. So he's in the Dominican trying to figure out what to do, which way to go. So he and I discussed that. But it just, like I said, you know, when you're hearing from a guy that's really performed here and played a lot of minutes and then goes to the NBA and doing, hey, he called, Coach, I just want to thank you. Well, yes, but when a guy doesn't play and he knows that I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. You know, I told him, you don't know how much that meant to me.
John, to your left. Footnote, Joe B. and Rupp both won NITs and NCAAs, but anyhow.
Who did?
Joe B. and Rupp both won the NIT and the NCAA.
So did I.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and you walk among them
Is
now.
that a humble brag? Don't be mad, Jerry. I was only kidding.
And Nolan actually won all 3. Anyhow, you were talking about guys.
I never coached junior college. Go ahead.
But you would have. You were talking about guys not finishing plays, and I'm wondering if you're surprised by that, given that they're all playing for minutes and things like that. Did you see that coming based on what you'd seen in practice?
I was laughing. I didn't hear one word you said. Say it again. What did you say? What was it?
You were talking about guys. I don't know if they were loafing, if they weren't finishing plays or whatever. I'm wondering if you were surprised by that, given that they're competing for minutes and the lineups are changing constantly.
You got 7 guys, maybe 8 that are going to play. They all know they're going to play. I'm trying to get them on the same page, playing off. Doesn't matter who starts. Next game, I may start Archie and Willie and Julius. I may do that next game just to see. Shouldn't I see if we start better that way? And if we start better, it really doesn't matter I mean, it's nice. If you want, we'll introduce 7 players at the starting lineup. 2 of you sit. How about that? I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's like Darius. Darius went from MVP of the SEC tournament, a starter, Final Four, and not draftable. Was not draftable. Then he becomes the 6th man on last year's team. Not only does he become draftable, they say he's the steal of the draft, and now he's getting minutes in New Orleans. So it really doesn't matter. Shots don't matter because Anthony and Michael Kidd proved it. It's can you play or not? Does somebody want to coach you? And the only reason they don't want to coach you is because you'll help them win. Because in that league, that next thing, if you don't win, you get fired. So I don't want anybody near me that can't help me win. That's how they are. And I think our guys prove that they help teams win.